And now I have the privilege to invite Ingrid Kulik up to the stage. She is the one that organizes and runs our food pantry. She's been doing it since its inception 24 years ago alongside of Al, her husband, and they've been a blessing to me personally. So we want to hear a bit about our food pantry and all that God's doing there. So thank you, Ingrid.
Thank you, John. It's a privilege to come and speak with you this morning about our pantry. We just crossed into our 24th year, as John mentioned, and wow, it's been a ride. Alan and I were brown-headed when that first started, so there's been a lot of change. But I wanted to let you know a few things about the pantry. First of all, with that many years, it doesn't happen with just two of us. It happens with a huge team of volunteers who are incredibly dedicated. It's not an easy job. It's working on a concrete floor from 2 to 4:30, setting up, breaking down, delivery days. Just to give you a sense of what 23 years has accounted for, the number of Fridays, we're open every Friday with the exception of a few holidays and a snow day. The number of Fridays that have been served, that we've been serving in those 23 years is 1,200 Fridays. It's a tremendous number. And then the delivery days on top of that, which are in addition to, has been 300 of those, at least, if not more. So it's really quite an involved group. I'd like to ask all the volunteers of the pantry to stand up, because these are the folks that you can go to and talk to about, come on, don't be shy. Stand up. These are the folks that do it. You can go to them. You can ask them questions about the pantry and what it's like to serve. Each one has different stories, because they make relationships with the folks that come in for food. Some of the patrons, when they come, actually look for certain volunteers because they've built some relationship with them and they want to pray with them. And sometimes they come back with testimonies and they want to tell them that, hey, your prayer was answered. You know, it's made a difference in my life. So the reason I'm here today is to tell you it's been a little bit of a roller coaster of a year for the pantry. We've had a lot of changes on the federal side. About half of our food that we distribute, and we distribute anywhere between 150 to 175,000 pounds of food a year, about half of that has come from the USDA. That funding was cut off earlier this year by the federal government. That's about half of what we distribute. The second thing that's happened is that donated product from the stores and other suppliers, major food distributors, that has been reduced more than half down. Some of the stores are simply marking things down and selling them reduced. Some are just not donating. It's become very lean out there. So we have limited product. In addition, our funding streams have been reduced by half, if not a little bit more. We usually have run $50,000 to $55,000 in grants per year to purchase the food. USDA is part of that, and also buying food from the food bank at 16 cents a pound. But without the donated food at 16 cents a pound, we are having to buy co-op and retail. A couple of us are we're raiding Aldi's and ShopRite and you name it each week to put some food on the shelves. Buying retail means we're spending the money much faster, and it's building up. And with half of our granting gone of that 50 to 55,000, that's very significant. I wanted to also update you on the SNAP situation. The SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. That's a federal program. With the government shutdown, these are people who do not have a pantry full of food. These are people who are going week to week in most cases. So when they don't get the SNAP benefit, they have no food. Normally in a week, we'll serve anywhere between 40 and 50 families on a Friday between 2 and 4:30. 2 weeks ago when the SNAP was stopped, we had 102 families come in. So it'll give you some sense of what happened. I got to hand it to the volunteers. They were just tremendous, just staying. Most of them stayed till near 6 o'clock that night to serve all of the people. And we distributed that day about 10,000 pounds of food. Very, very significant outgo. So there has been some support. The governor of New York State had released $63 million into the state to provide emergency funding during the SNAP shutdown. That trickled down, and to give you some idea that hunger is an issue in New York State, That trickled down to that our portion of that was $3,600. So it doesn't go very far. That buys about 2 weeks' worth of food. The county exec also released some emergency funding support. We were privileged to get some of that over the last 2 weeks. That has now been withdrawn because SNAP is back up and running. So that still doesn't help us with our other funding issues. So you might say, why do we push on? Why do we keep going? Why do the volunteers keep coming week after week after week after week after week after week? They keep coming. Food's a universal language. You don't have to speak a person's language to speak through food. When you give food, you give care, you give acknowledgement, you give security, and most of all, you give love. And, I find it very interesting that Jesus, our Savior, our King, he chose food for us to remember him by, to remember his sacrifice, bread and wine. He chose food. It's universal. It represents care. It represents acknowledgement. It represents security. It represents love. And there's so much in that Jesus is. Jesus is saying, I see you. I see you. I know you're there. And through this church's food pantry, we're able to offer that to the people that come through the volunteers that are taking care of everyone. Hunger hurts. My mom grew up in Berlin, Germany as a child. She was just a child when it opened and 10 years old when it finished. She knew hunger. She used to tell me about it. Hunger hurts. And hunger brings fear. It brings insecurity. It brings invisibility. Those things are not of God. Love, security, kindness, care, those things are of God. So by giving food to our patrons, people we don't know, people who come, even the people who came during the SNAP shutdown, we said to them, we see you. Others may not see you right now, but we see you. We see you and we care for you, and we're here, and we have the love of Jesus with us. And we want to tell you about him, about our Savior, about our King. We have volunteers, 25 to 30, who come every Friday. We also have volunteers from one other church, and they also provide funding to us. But I'm here to tell you ways that you can help, because we do need some help right now. I've thrown a lot of statistics at you, but that's the reality right now. We want to continue this ministry, and we need some help. There are 3 ways you can help. One is to pray. We need your prayers. We need your prayers. Pray for funding, pray for strength, pray for food. We're having trouble getting food. Access to food is becoming an issue. Like I said, we're raiding Aldi's and taking everything off their shelves, so we need access. The second thing is to volunteer. We need dedicated volunteers that will come regularly, that will be part of us, that can help us. Even if you can't come from 2 to 4:30, if you can come at 3 or 3:30, we have a number of older volunteers who need to leave by 4 o'clock because they can't drive in the dark at this time of year. So if you can come, bring a little fresh energy and fresh juice in, that would be good. And then the third is to donate here through the church. We have a church fund that the church keeps for us, and we are able to draw down on that. With the amount, and people have been generous, with the amount that's in there now, we have about 3 months, 2 to 3 months worth of purchasing power left, unless the situation changes. So if you can find a way, if God's talking to you about praying, volunteering, donating, please consider that and respond. We need your help. Thank you very much.